What's up? If you're new here, my name is Josh. I quit my job after only a week of working there. I know you probably wasn't expecting this video, but here it is. It's true and it's here. Um, it was terrible. You probably think I'm exaggerating, but I'm not. At least not for me. I feel like this was the right decision, and I'll state my reasons as to why in a moment, but I first want to say I'm thankful for God. I'm thankful to God for the opportunity, and I'm thankful for, you know, my friend giving me the opportunity to, even work there, because I started working there because of my friend. He presented me with the opportunity, and, you know, it just wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. Not my type of thing. Not my type of vibe. Um, I tried going with it as long as possible, just because I knew it wasn't something that was gonna be long term. I knew it was temporary, but that wasn't enough to convince me to stay there. Um, I talk a lot about my videos. Talk about a lot about action and a lot about you know, doing the best you can, right? But this was one thing that I didn't see myself doing at all, like at all. Even if it was, I had to hold on for a little bit. It was draining me. Just that 1 week, it drained me so much that I just said, I can't do it. Yes, I will state why. Right now, actually, I'm gonna state why. Number one reason. I already don't like working in food, right? I've worked in food before. I used to work at this place called Blaze Pizza. And in Blaze Pizza, they, at first, my only position was making the dough. That was my only job. That's the only thing I had to do, was make dough. And out of nowhere, I was making dough for 2 weeks, and out of nowhere, they threw me on the line without showing me what ingredient was what ingredient. And if you don't know, in Blaze Pizza, you have to basically say every ingredient, or basically you have to choose every ingredient you want, and that's how you make your pizza. You make your own pizza there, right? And as I'm thrown into the line, they're telling me things that they want, and I'm so embarrassed because I don't know one thing. They're talking about some basil. At the time, I didn't know what basil was. Even people at that age knew what basil was, but I didn't know what basil was. They were like, "Oh yeah, can you add basils?" And then they'd be like, "Oh yeah, can you add red onions?" I'm like, "Red onions? Like, I only see purple ones." Obviously, I didn't know that's what it was. But there was so much things on there that I didn't know what it was, and they didn't train me for the line. They just threw me on there, and a lot of people coming, and I'm just confused, and I didn't know what to do, and a lot of people started leaving that job, and it got so bad that it was only 3 of us working a shift. Mind you, there's supposed to be someone washing dishes, at least 2 to 3 people in the front, one person heating up the dough, and one person making the dough, and one person controlling the oven, right? So at least 5 people. There was 3 of us. Nobody was making the dough. Nobody was washing dishes. We had to do everything that whole shift, and shifts after that too. And I was like, I can't handle that. I can't handle it, and I just couldn't. It was too much. Now, as to the reason, I don't know why I ranted about that. The reason why I left this job. First thing they tell me when I walk in is, the assistant manager tells me this: "I'm so glad you came. We've been having people quit, like the grill cooks. I used to be a grill cook at Kava. That's where I worked. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's like Mediterranean food. Um, it's a food chain it's called Kava, and yeah." She tells me, yeah, a lot of grill cooks been leaving and some are on vacation and stuff. I'm like, some grill cooks leaving. Okay, I just let it fly by. But once they tell you that a certain position of people are leaving, get out of there. Get out of there because you're gonna be trapped. Nah, but um, the first thing they told me, I was like, okay. My first day working there, it was so hectic. There was so much that you had to do, and so little time to do it. And I get it because you have to get the food out a certain time and all that stuff. But there was only one person doing it. Mind you, now we are the second store in Jersey in terms of rankings, like second busiest basically. So if it wasn't this other store, it was us. We're the second. Literally, it's so busy, right? And you only have one grill cook. My friend tells me that in every other kava, there's at least two, but ours somehow has one. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And we're the second busiest, right? My friend, my second day there, says, I need to take a break. I can't do this. I need to take like a vacation or something. I'm about to ask for some time off or something. I said, what? So you're just gonna leave me on my first week? You're gonna leave me on my first week? What are you saying right now? Like literally, he's the one training me, by the way. And he's gonna leave me on my first week. It's like, okay, nice. Good to know. My third day there, I get told. No, I don't get told. I'm working and there is a line that goes outside the store. Outside the store. And they're calling for basically when something's running out, they say working, like basically rice working, chicken working, brown rice working, all like that. They say something like a food item and then say working. They say that, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I don't know where half the things are. It's only my third day here. They try to teach me everything in the first day. I'm like, I can't really process that in one day. When I asked the other grill cooks how long did it take them to learn, they all told me 2 months to get good, right? It took them a month and a half to learn everything and 2 months to get good. They wanted me by the third day to be flash. Literally, they wanted me to be so fast that my hands literally burn off and to learn things quicker than they did because they're experienced basically. Like, okay, we're experienced, so we should be able to teach you like we know and stuff so you learn faster. That was the gist of how they thought it would work. I was like, I can't do that. I can't just be flash the third day. And the person who's training me goes to the back. He goes to the back and I'm in the front. They're calling out all these things that I don't know how to make really. And they're just looking at me like I'm stupid. Like, yo, like what you doing? We need food. Mind you, the line is outside. I'm holding up the line. I get so overwhelmed. It was so overwhelming. And even if it wasn't that, if we go fast forward to the first day, I was already daydreaming about the job all the way until I quit. Every time I wasn't at the job, I was daydreaming about it, dreaming about it when I would sleep. Yes, literally every day. I was just thinking about the job, imagining certain scenarios, everything. I'm like, I can't live like that. Why am I thinking about this job so much? And like literally anything I would do, I'd think I'm working there. I would pick something up and I'd be like, oh, I'm scooping rice. Literally, that's what my mind would just do. I'm like, no, I can't do this. I'd be like, I was going crazy. I'm so serious. I was like going crazy. It was so annoying. It was so annoying. I did not like that. Another thing was it was getting in the way of like school. You can't leave unless another grill cook comes in. So that being said, I had to wait for another grill cook to come for me to leave. And I had school. So I would leave work at 4. Well, I'm supposed to leave work at 4. And I would have school at 6. So I had to get home, shower because I stink like clothes. I stink like food, so I would have to shower and then go to school. But no, I would never leave at exactly 4. It was either 4:30, 4:50, um, and then there would be traffic going home. So that would get in the way. Good thing last week was the last week of that semester. Now this week is a new semester, and apparently these people are more strict on the attendance. And no matter what class you're in, actually, if you get there late a few times, like you're cooked. A few lates count as absences, and eventually that will add up to a couple absences, and you're cut, right? And I couldn't have that happen. Also, my sleep schedule. Now, I already wasn't sleeping, you know, with a lot of things because I was studying a couple things, and then I'll wake up early to study even more, things like that, right? But when I got to a point where it was 3 hours of sleep, that's insane. It was like, but it was because I would get home late from school, and then in the morning, and then I couldn't sleep right away. I couldn't just go to sleep. So then in the morning, I had to wake up at 6 to go to work. And then doing that, then going to school, doing that, then going to school, doing that, then going to school every single day. Literally only for 1 week, it was draining me because I was doing that and daydreaming about the job every day. It just sounds like I'm complaining. You guys could take it like that, but these are just reasons as to why I left and why I just decided to not do it anymore. At least I got one check out of them. And yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on what else happens after that. But those are my reasons as to why I left. I'm sure there's more insider things that I forgot to say, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to remember some, but I don't want to just say more things just to say them. So there was a lot of things that in the workspace people would say that would kind of turn me off from working there. The people were cool. All the people were cool. They were nice. They were chill. I have nothing against the people. They were all good. They were good. But I just couldn't work there. I know how I am. If other people can, they can. But the grill cook is the hardest job there for a reason, because you have to do literally everything. And I mean everything. Not exaggerating. You have to do everything. I don't know how my friend does it. He wants to leave. He literally, that same week, he said, I'm gonna leave in about a month or 2. I'm like, bro, I just got here. You talking about you want to leave? These are all signs for me to leave now. He said it's so draining. They don't pay him enough. This and that. Mind you, he's telling me these things after he's already asked me to work there and all this stuff. I should have known when he had begged me to work with him. He said, yo, I'll take you right now. Come on. I'll take you right now. Yo, we need someone. When he said that, I should have just disbanded it and looked the other way. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all my reasons. I know I said, I like being uncomfortable and all these things, but that was too overwhelming to a point where I couldn't even be uncomfortable in a way of knowing that I could get through it. It was messing with me mentally, and it would get to a point where I'm not even focusing in school either, because I'm thinking about the job. Like that was the main issue, really. I was always thinking about the job, and that is not something that I want to be doing. Just thinking about food, literally thinking about me. Everything I would do would have to do with food. I pick up this water bottle, or not this can. I'm scooping up chicken. Like literally, it'd be the stupidest things. I could relate it to that job somehow, some way, only off the first day, and I lasted a full week. It was bad, and I really think it was only bad because it was a one person job when it's supposed to be two people. Um, yeah, I think that's really the reason why. But because I felt overwhelmed by all the things I had to do. But yeah, that's my reason. I'll update you guys on if anything comes up. I have some plans I'm not gonna really talk about already. Like I said, I at least got a check out of them. At least worked for a full week, so I have a check coming. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys are disappointed, sorry, but I think this was the best decision mentally, honestly. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this little rant. And yeah, God loves you. I love you. Peace.